Later today, the FEMA administrator will be testifying before Congress. Lawmakers have questions about what some are calling a history of bias. This is after claims that FEMA workers were told to skip homes of Trump supporters in Lake Placid, Florida, following Hurricane Milton. The state is actually suing the agency right now. For more on this, let's bring in Louisiana Republican Congressman Garret Graves, a member of the subcommittee holding today's hearing. Congressman, welcome to the show. Appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
What's the biggest question that you want answered from the FEMA chief today, sir?
Look, what we need to do is we need to get to the bottom of this. I have a lot of trouble believing that there was just some field representative that on her own came up with this idea. We have seen throughout this administration this bias or prejudice towards certain communities, towards certain types of people. And I think what we really need to get to the bottom of is, where did this really come from? Was this a tone that FEMA had set? Is this a tone within the administration, a theme, or was this truly a one-off? And I think that many of us believe that this really is a trend within the administration, where we've seen grant dollars biased, we've seen policies biased, and even in some cases, I believe flood insurance rates inappropriately applied to some areas that may be more supportive of Trump-type policies.
I wanted to play a bit of sound for you because former FEMA supervisor Marnie Washington, who was fired for telling staffers to avoid homes with Trump signs in Florida, now says it came from her higher-ups. Take a listen to what she said.
I'm being framed. There's no violation of the Hatch Act. I was simply following orders. I did not vote for Kamala Harris, so there's no political plight on my part. I was simply following orders.
Yeah, Congressman, what did you make of that interview, and how do you use said information to head into today's hearings?
Look, it's a very powerful statement, and I think it's consistent with what we've seen in other areas where there truly is a bias or a prejudice against folks who have certain political beliefs or ideology. And, you know, what is most frustrating or just enraging is you've got to think about this. Look, I'm from South Louisiana, where we have been through hurricanes, floods, and many other disasters. At that moment, you've lost everything you own. Your home has been flooded. You don't have electricity. You don't have air conditioning. Your phone's out. You don't have internet. And to be re-victimized by your own government as a result of these discriminatory policies is absolutely unacceptable. And so this hearing today, we have got to get to the bottom of this. We've got to understand where this truly came from and ensure that moving forward that everyone is treated fairly and gets the resources and the needs that their needs addressed.
And when the chief takes the hot seat today, you know, at the end of the day, if you get insufficient answers, if you get unsatisfying answers, where do you go next with this?
Well, look, I mean, the committee has the ability to subpoena folks, to pull in people in between Administrator Criswell and the field representative that you just had on the show. And so trying to truly get to the bottom of this and figure out exactly where this direction came from. Did it come from Administrator Criswell? Did it come from someone else? If so, who was it? What did they say? And where did they get that direction? We have got to track this down, because I'm going to say it again. I have done a deep dive looking at grants and some of the policies, some of these terms that they've invented, adding justice at the end, talking about equity. What it's done is it's allowed them to redefine sort of how they're going to prioritize grants, policies, and things like that. And it's resulted in a bias, meaning I think in many cases, the areas that are more conservative are being neglected. And that's exactly what we've seen as a result of this FEMA action in Florida. And to me, this is almost like saying the quiet part out loud.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully by the end of the day, we'll have better insights as to whether or not this was an isolated incident or, to your point, a trend within the agency. Congressman Garret Graves, thank you so much for your time, and we'll check back in after today.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.